Darrell Jazz Johnson here, Gospel Herald, CitySportsReport.com, here with legendary photographer Mr. Ben Woods. Ben, how are you doing today?
Oh, just fine, just fine.
So one of the things that I find interesting about you and how we kind of got to know each other is your passion for covering tennis. Where did that begin?
Oh, I played sports in high school and I played sports in college, and I was lucky enough that I went to the military. I played football, basketball, and track, but I had never played tennis before, and I met Arthur Ashe during that time, and he was a tennis player, and they needed someone to fill in one day, and I played with them. I didn't know how to keep scores and nothing. He just told me to hit the ball back across the net, and that's how I started. And then I was began to whip some of the guys from West Point. West Point is one of the world's military training school, and I started whipping some of those guys. He said, "Why don't you play on the team?" And it kind of shocked me.
So you mentioned the legendary Arthur Ashe. What was your friendship like with him?
Oh, we were very close. I got lots of pictures with him, and I gave him pictures, and I talked to him, and I watched a lot of his tennis matches.
So when they first announced that there would be an Arthur Ashe Stadium here, what were your initial thoughts when you heard about that?
I couldn't believe it because it was during the time that there wasn't naming anything after African Americans.
And when they created Arthur Ashe Kids Day, again, what were your thoughts when such a big event was named after your friend?
Oh, I was really fascinated because we did camps together for the ATA, and it I have attended. I think the Arthur Ashe Day started back in the '70s, and I've attended every one. I want to say it's about 44, but I stand to be corrected. It's about 44 of them. So I've been attending the U.S. Open since the year of 1970, and I've attended the years from Wimbledon. I attend Wimbledon every year since 1982. So I've seen a lot of tennis, and I met a lot of nice tennis players and nice, friendly people.
So one of the most remarkable things that I've learned from you is how many Grand Slam events you've covered. So the 2014 U.S. Open is what number for you?
I'm in the 90s now. I got to recheck it. I should get my. I'm trying to get 100 Grand Slams, and I plan on writing a book as 100 plus.
And that is such a remarkable number because I'm on Grand Slam number 4, but you're in the 90s, so it would be impossible for me to catch up to you. But looking back on those 90 plus Grand Slams, what are some of your most fondest memories?
Uh, I in conjunction with the U.S. Open, we do what we call USTA tennis conference, and that's where they teach you how to teach tennis. And I was fascinated because I have uh, 4 kids, and all of them have masters and PhDs, and my 3 sons are teaching and coaching in college. And I never. I came from a poor family. We had a limited amount of funds, and only reason I got into sports, got into college, I was a very good basketball, track, and football player. We wasn't playing tennis, lacrosse, swimming. We didn't because we didn't have was exposed to it. But I was just a good athlete.
So what keeps you coming back? Besides, you're not somebody who's just here for the marquee matchups. One of the reasons why we got to know each other is because you're out on court 4 or court 17 or court 11 watching some of the juniors play, watching some of the wheelchair players play. What gives you that passion to continue to cover tennis?
See, my dad was a diabetic and he lost his leg, and I can visualize him trying to get around through the house by crawling, and he was very active before he lost his leg, and he lost it. I think it was gangrene. He got infected in back in those days. No one went to the doctor when they got hurt, so I figured, I could give all I got to to help kids.
So This is a question that's often asked to the players, so I'm going to ask you the same question. All of the different Grand Slam events have their own unique character. What are some things that you enjoy about each of the four events?
Well, I enjoy seeing all of the top players, the top 20 players, and also I really enjoyed going to Wimbledon because when I first started going to Wimbledon back in '82, um, I had to wear a shirt and tie and neck, and I got a chance to mix with very wealthy people, and I didn't probably have over $5 in my pocket. And I got lots of pictures, and I was in the military 30 years, so I got a chance to travel, and I couldn't believe it because where I came from.
What are some of your most proudest images that you've taken?
Uh, Trying to find someone I talked to. I did the funeral for Arthur Ashe, which was held in Richmond. I did the funeral in New Jersey, which was Ophelia Gibson, and the mayor of New York, Mr. Dinkin. We was together, and we were talking, and I told him I had promised that I would find a male to win a grand slam. And I talked to Melvin Washington. I was in Wimbledon when he made it to the final, and I talked to him today, and I was telling him I was still looking for a junior, to win a Grand Slam. And also I talked to Zena Garrison. She's in Washington, and she went to the finals too. So it was two African Americans who went to the final. Zena went, then she didn't win, and also Melvin Washington. And I was a very good friend of Melvin Washington's father, and he was saying he thought had the talent to do it.
Final question. Through your journey, 90 plus Grand Slams, how important has your faith been to you while accomplishing everything that you've done?
It's unbelievable because I got pictures of every African American that played tennis since 1953. And I did my undergraduate in Georgia, and I knew Ophelia Gibson. She was in Florida A&M, and I think Arthur was at UCLA. And I got a chance to meet him and talk to them, and I got pictures of them, and I never would have thought I would have been able to do something of that nature. Because my dad always told me, said, the more you learn, the more you're going to earn.
Last thing, and this is not a question, but let the people know where they can find your work, the magazine, and everything.
Oh yeah, it's in Black Tennis Magazine. Flyers, how they can go on website and look at them, pictures and what we are doing. And I just got the latest magazine, which you probably recognize who was on it. What did I do with it? This was taken in 2011, and this.
And we recognize these two people up here, Taylor Townsend and Donald Young.
And this is another one we did from here on one of the young ladies, and I was at this match here in England when the longest match in history of Wimbledon, on court 18.
And that's a picture of you on the back. So we have
Yeah.
Taylor Townsend on the front, and a picture of you, Mr. Woods, on the back.
And this is our latest magazine out. She won in England this year, and this was our first major tournament. And this is our latest magazine, and we are published quarterly, every 3 months.
Okay, and that's a picture of Madison Keys on the front, 19-year-old African American tennis player who uh, is probably having her best year as a professional. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Woods. It's always an honor to be able to speak to you, even more so to be able to do so on camera. You have so much wisdom to offer, not only myself but everyone who will be watching this. Any last words you want to tell to a young person who may inspire to be a photographer out there?
Well, it's a very exciting. My most exciting um, opportunity, or should I say, a photograph. And I was on the team in the U.S. Army, where I was in when they first refuel airplanes in the air, and we was in the back on the tail taking the pictures. And that's the most exciting um, time I've ever had, and I've enjoyed it most of all.
Well, thank you very much for your time and honor.